Blessing Nona. I currently volunteer at the Lincoln County Hospital at the acute pediatric department, and I've been working here for about 2 years now. Really happy and excited to be here. Just taking it a little bit backwards, I've been volunteering for a very long time now, well above 8 years plus. I want to say up to 10 years now. I was actually a student in Lincoln as at 2 years ago, and when I came in, because of the passion I have for volunteering, I decided to look out for organizations that has a volunteering opportunity for me, because I believe volunteering comes with like that passion, the passion to give back to the community, the passion to help. With this in mind, I decided to come to the hospital because I saw an ad, and also a friend who is a senior radiologist told me about the volunteering scheme, and then I decided to go for it. It was very seamless. I found the website very easy to navigate. I got the form from there, saw the links, clicked on it, filled the form, and then sent in my application. And ever since then, it's just been pure bliss. It's been really amazing working with the team, because it was kind of easy for me to find the department I was able to work with, because I've had previous experience in administrative duties, and working with people, managing people, working with, helping out with documentation and stuff. And this was what actually landed me in the acute pediatric department. Just going to talk more about the process. It was also a very seamless process as well. There was like a proper interview, understanding like the trust core values and all that. So I literally had to prepare for it. So it wasn't like I was just coming to play. Kind of serious, the process. There was an interview process, there was a screening process, and after I got that position, I was given a proper training, understanding more of the core values of the trust. A lot of people, especially the young people of our generation, they kind of like, oh, but I'm not going to be paid. You're actually paying yourself in kind, but not financially, because there are some things you would get volunteering that even money cannot buy. Those values, those experience, you can't buy that with money. When you're able to volunteer, these things come, even without you noticing, it comes to you like very naturally. I would very much encourage you to do it. It's also very important that you kind of like outline the things you want to achieve as a volunteer. What do you want to achieve? That way, volunteering now becomes something of fun. It becomes something you're not struggling with. So you have to check, are you passionate about volunteering? If you are, then this is something I would tell you to grab hold of, because it's a life-changing experience. I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and my life has not remained the same. If you're looking for a platform where you would be able to grow, you're giving back to people, you want to create that community, then you should jump on this. You should become a volunteer. Speaking about CVs, actually, it's also very important, because in our current generation, they ask you, you need to have about 5 years experience in this field or in this department you're trying to get into, or this position you're trying to get into. But sometimes you wonder, how do people get all this experience? And when you look back at it, volunteering helps, because at this period, you're indirectly like doing those things that the normal paid staff would do, but it's just that you're not being paid. And then when those people who have previously experienced or who haven't experienced it come, and you're put side by side with them, you find out that you've actually been able to cover a whole lot. And that makes you stand out. Volunteering also comes with a lot of confidence too, because when you tell people, oh, I volunteered in 5 places, I volunteered in 10 organizations, big organizations, known across the world, known in Africa, look at what they've done, look at the projects we've carried along, and people see this, they are confident in you, and they see that you've got competence. You've got the potential to be able to manage this project and be able to deliver, because for you to be able to have volunteered, for this long and been able to, achieve those projects for this long, it shows that a project can be put into your hands and you'll be trusted to deliver.
What would you say to somebody who's thinking about volunteering for the trust?
So the first word that comes to my mind is passion. Volunteering comes with passion. If you don't have the passion for it, it's going to be very difficult. The will to give back. If you have that will to give back, that's when volunteering becomes something interesting you want to keep doing and not just something you're mandated to do. And also the very last thing is the fact that you get to have a community. Volunteering the trust and even in other places I've volunteered, like Enactors, Revamp Africa, and other organizations I've volunteered with, I've been able to build a strong community of people who encourage me to get my goals done. And that's the most, I would say that that's actually my best part of volunteering, because you get to build a community that help you grow, that help you get your goal faster. So these are like the three things: passion, the will to give back, and the community that I'm able to create. Just speaking about some of the interests, because I get a lot of questions like, let's say, why did you choose to volunteer? Most times they're like old set of people, or like volunteering is a myth, kind of. Volunteering shouldn't be for the young. But I feel like as a youth, the best time to actually be able to give value and be able to help out as much as you can would be during your youth, when you're young enough to give that. And I feel like there shouldn't be like an age grade or an age range, particularly as a young person, because I started volunteering at a very young age. I was at 17 years, I was already volunteering, and that was amazing because at that point I had a lot of opportunity to grow, and my growth was seamless and kind of faster, because there are some things you would learn while volunteering that you wouldn't even learn like in a proper job or like in some certain environment, because volunteering kind of like allows you to spread your wings and get to like assimilate a lot of skills that usually you may not be able to get. Just talking about individuals who are passionate, who are capable of doing things like helping people, making sure that things are really done well. This is like an open call, and it's an opportunity for you to also develop yourself. It's not just about doing things because people want you to do it, but developing your own self, because I feel like volunteering is an opportunity you get to develop your own self, and there are no rules to development. So you have all that time to do as much as you want to do, make all the mistakes you want to make, while you have amazing people by your side helping you through. So I would actually advise, no matter the age range you find yourself, you are welcome to volunteer. You don't necessarily have to be old or retired. At a young age, that might likely even be the best time you can give the best quality of help that you can as a volunteer. Like volunteering, generally, I'm going to start from the general point of view, and then I will streamline it to how my experience here has been. So generally, it's been amazing because you get the opportunity to do whatever you want to do, like I said, and while you're doing it, you're learning in that process. Also, you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of amazing people. You get to grow even faster than you can ever imagine volunteering, and this is one of the most amazing part of volunteering. Now, bringing it down to volunteering in the trust, I really love the fact that I had the opportunity to work with professionals in different capacity. I've worked with consultants, I've been able to work with doctors, nurses, and different people in different capacity. And as a volunteer, you get to experience this even without like being a staff. You're a staff in a way, but as a volunteer, you get the opportunity to work with people with different professions in this kind of organization. It also gives me an opportunity to be able to socialize, understand, practice like my leadership skills, understand core values, try to practice discipline, because I took volunteering very seriously. I kind of like made sure that I was always disciplined. I gave myself time. I worked with my coordinators. The time that I was supposed to always show up, I showed up. Because it's called volunteering, a lot of people kind of like become mediocre around it, but I kind of like worked on disciplining myself, and that was like the most beautiful thing. And this actually has helped me in life in general, planning myself, disciplining myself without thinking about it and knowing that it's for the future and not for now. That's actually the beautiful thing about working in the trust. Those core values has actually reflected in my own life, and I'm so happy for that. Thanks to my coordinators, they were able to support me through in terms of like referral and stuff, because while I was doing this, I was also like applying, putting out application. Yeah, this is actually one of the advantage of volunteering, because you get a lot of people who would guide you through on how to get proper paid job, which I actually enjoy. My coordinators, my line managers, they were also very much helpful in terms of like scouting for jobs and helping me see departments even within the trust where I can get like paid jobs and stuff. So fortunately, I got a job, and right now I'm going to start the job. So my volunteering experience doesn't just stop here. I will keep volunteering forever. It's a continuous process for me, but in the future I plan to volunteer. I believe there will be events coming up in the trust, and I'm always happy to volunteer in those events, like maybe the open day or anything coming up. I'll always be here whenever I'm available. Yeah. What I just want to add is, I actually want to say that everyone in the trust have been so amazing. Out volunteering here, because this is my first 2 years volunteering in the outside of my home country. Initially, I was bothered about, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to be treated equally? Am I going to be given equal opportunity like every other person in this organization? To my greatest surprise, and I'm so impressed, I've been accepted so much, both the department, the organization as a whole, the level of trust in terms of like what I can do. Everybody listens to me. I don't feel like I'm being left out whatsoever. I don't feel like I'm not wanted here. And that is the most beautiful thing about volunteering here for me. The acceptance was very laudable. Everybody accepted me. Everybody treated me so well. And I have the most amazing coordinators. I have the most amazing line managers. I really want to appreciate everyone. They didn't make volunteering feel like a difficult task. They made it feel very welcoming. They made me feel home. And every day I just want to come to volunteer. This is something I just want to put out there. If you're a person of color, you want to volunteer, or you're thinking, I'm not sure how people would perceive me. This is actually a place that when I worked here and while I'm working here, I feel very accepted, and I would advise you also come. When you come, you would experience this for yourself. But so far, it's been amazing, and I can sense that the diversity is very, very strong and well upholded. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Out of your busy schedule, you're able to give us this time to talk. So in today's video, we just want to ask you a couple of questions based off on a question I put up on my social media concerning volunteering, NHS, working in the NHS, becoming a full-time staff, and also volunteering as a staff in the NHS. But before we go further, can you like introduce yourself so that we get to meet you?
Indeed, yeah. Name's Andrew Tyso, Voluntary Service Manager here at the ULHT in Lincolnshire.
Okay, nice to meet you. Moving into the question session. So the first question I would be putting out there based off on like what people asked would be, what are the requirements to become a volunteer? What's the process like?
Requirements are quite straightforward. You just got to be able to give half a day a week for a minimum of 6 months.
Okay.
But apart from that, you don't need any necessary qualifications. You just need to be someone that cares about people.
Okay.
And the process is fairly straightforward. It's an application form, fairly simple form. You take a reference up, that's somebody that you've known for a year or more. Then we get you in for an interview. Normally need what we call a DBS clearance.
Okay.
And then it's a matter of finding the right opportunity within our trust for your volunteering skills. But the most important factor is to be a caring, considerate, good-natured person.
As a volunteer myself, I think that is actually very important. Being a caring person, someone who's passionate about volunteering, that actually comes, quite handy. Yeah, and speaking about the process, I can actually confirm to that. That was really a very straightforward process. As at the time I joined in as a volunteer, and thank you. Okay, so going forward, so you mentioned that there's like a lot of roles and opportunities. So I'm just wondering, based upon a question someone asked, is there a particular role in connection to like someone, let's say for example, someone who has just recently graduated? Is there like a process or a screening process that kind of like places those people into the kind of role that suits their graduate program? Yeah, is there like a progression in that way?
Yeah, depending on what the graduate's taken at the university. We have a couple of options at the ULHT. One is what we call the Talent Academy.
Okay.
And that can tend people down to the pathway to a job. Or to a career within our trust.
Okay.
And that can involve shadowing and things like that. But on our side, with our volunteers that are dressed in the yellow, like yourself, it's more of a practical role. And we do expect you to come in and do that sort of practical support of patients. But obviously, if you take the ward buddy role, which is probably one of our most important roles, that's where you're placed in the environment of a ward. And of course, you will then be exposed to the doctors, the nurses, and all the sort of processes that are going on within that, whilst helping our patients with befriending, running errands. But of course, what it does give to a graduate is that opportunity to get a flavour of what being in a hospital is like, whilst doing some good. So it is a good partnership. You do give your time, and we value that time. And obviously, the payback for you is that you gain that experience of hospital environments, which is crucial.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that there are varieties of roles that one can actually get in here. And speaking about the first one you mentioned that there's a pathway that kind of like incorporates one who's a volunteer into becoming a full-time staff. Are you able to elaborate more on that aspect?
Yeah, the Talent Academy.
Yeah, the Talent Academy.
The Talent Academy. Well, it's quite a large part of what we do. Claire Flavel is the manager of that academy, and they will look at opportunities to develop people to hopefully join the trust as a paid member of staff. So there are a number of options. There's things like apprenticeships, but there is shadowing, and there is lots of ways of coming on board. And actually, eventually, what the plan is that the Talent Academy will recruit a lot more people. So I'm sure it works very closely with the universities, but it is a real structured way to employment at the trust. So the Talent Academy is definitely something to have a look at via our website.
Okay, that's very beautiful. So what that means is that people also have a chance of joining from their school into the NHS, volunteering, getting a career, and along all these varieties. So whichever suits your interest particularly. Absolutely. They're like a variety of options. That's so beautiful, those options. Okay, so I just based off on like the questions, is this also an NHS thing? Like after the Talent Academy, does someone now become a full NHS staff through this process?
It's possible. Okay. It's possible. The opportunities are there. The details of each particular strand of what the Talent Academy does, you need to have a look at. But in theory, there is opportunities for people to develop their skills that they've learned at university and ultimately to join the NHS and hopefully our ULHT trust, which is one of the trusts within the NHS, and make a career with us. Our volunteering side is a much more practical based thing, but we have got evidence of people that have gained experience, life experiences, maybe like yourself, a little bit of admin experience, improves people's confidence levels, their ability to work within a team. So although it's not a direct link to employment, everything that a volunteer does in terms of their CV and their experience will do them the power of good.
Yes, just adding to what you've just said, I would actually confirm to that, because as a volunteer myself, I was able to, take advantage of that opportunity. I mean, it was a great opportunity for me to develop my CV as a volunteer, in the trust, and that actually helped me gain the job where I currently work right now. So that's actually a very beautiful pathway as well to getting a job, even if not in the trust, outside of the organization as well. That's very, very beautiful. So speaking about, just elaborating more on the talent management part, is it also because you mentioned earlier that there's a process of getting into volunteering, and the process very simple process involves filling a form, doing some interviews. Is that also applicable to the talent management, or
it's a separate thing? Yeah, I mean, we're all here to try and move people in the direction that they want to go.
Okay.
The Talent Academy is very focused on employment.
Okay.
It does work with the schools as well, and of course the universities, colleges, for people to come in even from the schools and do some experience here on the sites. So get that first bit of knowledge and experience of being in a hospital. And of course the Talent Academy, its function really is to try and bring out that talent, bring in those people from outside and improve and increase our numbers of customers that we've got on the ground. But as you say, volunteering in a practical sense is always a partnership. So we gain your time, we gain your personality and your caring nature, but you gain something from it. It has to be a partnership that works for both. And as you've pointed out yourself, you gain that experience, you gain that knowledge, and you gain that experience to be able to become a good paid member of staff wherever you go. So the grounding is good. So if you move on to employment, as you've done yourself, then we're quite happy and proud that you've done that.
Yeah, and that's actually the most important part of volunteering, because you gain those experiences. You kind of stand out among your peers. All that experience you've gotten volunteering, you're able to practically put that, in wherever you're going, and in terms of discipline, in terms of time management, all these things are actually some of the things I picked up as a volunteer. And whoever is thinking of volunteering, I believe this is something that would be very important, into self-development and giving back to people. Okay, thank you very much. I just want you to tell us your advice for people who, especially those who are like myself, individuals who are not primarily based in the UK or not from the UK, or are not citizens of the UK, people of color who have passion for, because you mentioned earlier that the beautiful thing about volunteering are people who are passionate and create value by helping. Now for some people, they have the zeal, they have the passion, but they are a bit skeptical if how they are going to be accepted in an environment like this one. What is your advice as the coordinator for volunteers?
Well, I think that the easy answer is please come along. Diversity is what we're all about. You bring so much to us from your cultures. I know Nigeria, for example, has got a very good culture about volunteering. Some countries is different, and we appreciate all that, but we know the value of bringing in diversity into the trust, and that goes for our staff as well. So diversity makes a beautiful blend of everything, and there's a lot that each country can learn from each other, particularly with giving yourself and your time and your passion and your caring nature. And I've met lots of people from the university that have come over here from other countries, and I've never been disappointed by the level of passion that you people bring to us, and it enriches the trust. So if anyone out there does want to volunteer, regardless of where they come from, as long as they've got a right to be able to work or volunteer, which I'm sure they have, we would welcome them coming forward, and they will enrich our team of volunteers here. So please come forward. and we'll be happy to see you.
I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to come as well. Yeah, realizing and hearing that diversity is a thing in this organization is also part of like the core values of the trust, and hearing this actually I believe would be like a confirmation, and it would also encourage people who are looking to become volunteers, who are looking to come into the NHS, and they don't get scared of whether they are going to be accepted as much or whether they are going to be, you know, recognized for bringing in, you know, that effort, that passion, you know, being able to help. It's really been a good time speaking with you, Andrew, but I'm just wondering, just for the people watching, for the locals in Lincoln, for those who are willing to talk or who would like to have an experience of what it means to volunteer at the hospital, are you able to tell us, is there an event coming up, or is that something the trust is putting up for people who are interested in?
Indeed. We've very recently taken on a volunteer supervisor for the next 18 months, and part of their role is to take people on tours. So if you wanted to come in individually or as a group, we can arrange for you to come in and have a look around at our wards, etc., to see where somewhere within the environment that you'd like to volunteer. We've also, as part of National Volunteer Week, first week of June, we should be hosting a recruitment day. So again, you'll be able to come in and be able to take a tour around to one or two places to see what's available. We've also got, obviously, our website, we've got a generic email, and we've got a telephone number, which I'm sure you'll be able to put up at the end of the slides, just to show people where they can go.
Okay.
Talent Academy is another one that's available for people to inquire and to ask more information about a career within the trust.
Okay, thank you very much for that information. So I'm just going to, by the end of this video, just on the description box, I'm going to put all this information Andrew has given us. So if you're interested in volunteering, you're in Lincoln or within the locals, you'd like to volunteer, you're down on the description box, you've got all that information there, and we hope to see you volunteering. Okay, thank you very much for today. See you in my next one. Bye.